There we go. Amazing tools. Scripts. Now we share, copy this, close this, open this, mute this. It should work, right? Yeah. Next, timer. Start the timer. Did it start? Yeah. Good evening. We are back after a while. Yes. It has been actually so long. This time for real. I don't know. I didn't really think out taking a break in itself. Like, sometimes it just happens. And when it happens, that's it. Not much to really say in terms of, oh wow. I really wanted to do something and events rise up, so we end up not having the possibility of being back here. Also, I'm not really speaking that loudly. Why is the microphone so loud actually? Like, I might have changed something or something like, okay, wait. Can you listen to yourself, brother? Why is the sound like this? That's the question. Who knows? Does it sound bad? No, it doesn't sound bad in any ways. No. So, why is it so loud? I literally didn't change anything, so only God has any clue. Can happen, I guess. Can very much be the case. It's literally everything is the same as last time. Why is it so loud now? What the? Anyway, can happen, I guess. Did you know Nvidia corporations gained 1.77% off? In comparison to what? No clue. There's something. I guess this message has been brought to you by MSN. Amazing. For more beautiful sponsors, stay tuned. I guess. Let me play this. Let me open this other thing over here. This and mute this. Mute? Yeah. There we go. Okay. Where wanna be? I don't know actually. I said something. Can I try to change that? Arts. Can I try to change that right now? Like, advanced settings here. With that, we have a less delay. We can change the first started delay. Is it really necessary in terms of? I don't know. I also like my 8 minutes to set up and whatnot. In the end, it ends up being useful for me too. Like, I don't think I'm specifically like rationalizing why it happens like that. It just is the case that yeah, if I don't have that much time and I have to actually do everything in the run, so to speak, like I don't know. I don't think it's that great. Basically, it's I don't like to be so out of control, I guess, or it's really the expression that I'm looking for. It's being too hasty, or yeah, setting things up while already being on stream feels bad. So it's also good to have these 8 minutes to get everything ready. It would be better if it wasn't necessary, but we don't live in such a world to have the beauty of not needing it in any way. Also, what's up? Is my internet crashing out? Why? My phone just my My internet phone just died, yeah. I have been having quite a hard time, actually, understanding more advanced conjugations, and somehow trying to pay attention to that has like killed my basic ability to speak more basic normal English. I guess I am over wary of how the fuck do you say things now that I realized I am entirely skipping that whole category of like how you mix the whole abbreviations and whatnot. But yeah, we are gonna get over that at some point, I guess. Anyways, let me open the game. And also, no, wait. Calm down, brother. Let me first and foremost, this is working. Let me set this like this like this. What else? Anything else? I feel like no, okay. Well, let me activate the desktop background, no, desktop sound, and after that we open gameplay. Did I set it up? Yeah, I thought I didn't. I am amazing sometimes, I guess. PopCap. Trademark. Match 5 stems in an L or T shape to create a stars, and so true for that. Listen.
Welcome back.
Amazing. Here, I have an idea. We're going to put everything to the very lowest. Like, okay, no sound. Or barely any sound. Something, okay, not so low, because unavoidably with the filter, you won't hear it. But, let me see. Let me open this, set this like this. If I, now, to check. You hear that? Okay, you can hear that, so that's good enough. Yeah, over there is good enough. And the music, we can lower it a little bit more. Okay, now, options, full screen. Okay. Now, video gaming. And it goes game capture. Visual. Yes. And wait a second, because unavoidably, Visual is a very special title that unless you have the windows directly focused, it doesn't count the windows as existing, so it's amazing. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Are we fine? Let me check. I have the model, I have... No. Okay, where was it then? Let me... I crashed the game? No. It just doesn't let me move the window. Ah, amazing. Don't you love that? Give me a second. So, what an amazing video. We're going to directly come into here at the transition here. And wait a second now. Options. Full screen. Yeah. There we go. The problem is, are you seeing that? Yes, you are. Well. So, we are back. Basically, as it says, main explanation to make basically. We are on to. I have a theory. Can I copy this text? I cannot copy this text, so I have to type it by hand. Safety information. Let me copy that actually. Just in case. This time around, I will try to pay attention to that. Safety. What is it? Safety information. certain people may experience well, motor changes, dizziness, muscle twitches. How? Hallucinations. Amazing. Drowsiness, inattention, and what is and? Water, health effects when listening, binaural beats with headphones. And I'm not going to copy every single part of it. What is it? Take care. Be wary. Don't. How do you quickly sum it up? Like, proceed with caution. Yeah. There we go. That's the perfect message. Copy, and now we pin this. We pin this on the just in case. And now, can I directly copy this on my own stream? No, I can't. Isn't it amazing? Isn't? Listening. Okay, there we go. I took out. Wait, pin. I was looking for that. There we go. Okay, it's pinned. So, just in case, that is put everywhere. Like, yeah, nobody can come here and say, "What the fuck, you're trying to kill me." No, that's not going to happen. Now, enable. Now, volume. Maximum volume. Meditation. Mood lifter. It's so fucking loud. I'm going to have a stroke, brother. Pain suppressor. Holy shit. No. But we have to believe that it is going to be very fine. Holy no, it's no, yeah. It's way too loud. Maximum volume is way too loud. It's overwhelmingly loud, actually. Brother, we are going to fucking die today. Yeah, a little bit lower, I guess. Ah, this is the music. Wait, the music goes not so loud here. Why? Because the point is not to have that be so intense. Is it my... However, the word. Can you... Holy shit, I am pinned the message already. I am amazing. Tiny joke. Don't worry about it. Don't pay attention to it. Ah, yeah. Leave this. No, wait. Hide this, thank you. Now, I need to back. Menu. Full screen. There we go. Now we're back. So yeah, point is, we're going to see. I remembered what happened last time actually, and I also remembered I said, is it really because of the fucking game? No way. Why are you playing this? Yeah, because this game is Kino. No, because you may have never played this game. There is this mode called main menu. Then, and the problem with Zen is this thing. Zen has a binaural beat, and last time I did that, I almost fucking died. So today we are going to test if my theory is correct, or if, on the other hand, it isn't really that well. So we are going to be enjoying, like, I don't know, as much as I can take before I pass out of this game, basically. But anyways, welcome to say. Hope you're a very good man. And I don't know. I have the warning pinned, so yeah. If you start feeling dizzy, Alt F4 the stream and don't look back. Don't worry about it. It's, I don't know if to some degree it's like expected, because why the fuck would I put a warning otherwise? No, it's what's the legality of that? It's like they have to put a warning, because otherwise if they don't and somebody does actually get hurt, where are the binaural beats? You're listening to them right now, like without, that's the noise. This garbage is the binaural beat, basically. This thing. Pain suppressor pattern. Wow! That's what the fuck is that on? Because we're suppressing. What's the meme? Commander, deactivate my pain suppressors. There we go. But no, doctor. Yeah, I wasn't as crazy. It was doctor. Maximum pain suppressor activation to see how it feels, and if we die, we die. What can we do about that? We have come to play, so yeah, we are going to find out what happens, I guess. But yeah, that's the main reason as to why we're playing this. I want to actually see. I don't know. I think never in my whole life. Shut up, man. I will have to mute you because you're too loud. You interrupt me. What was this? Shut up. What was I saying? No, I'm slowly losing it. Am I losing it, or is it like the nocebo effect? Who knows? What was I saying? Oh my god. No, yeah, I am starting to slowly losing. Thinking is pain. That's why I cannot think, I guess. No. A fucking vibration in the background is unavoidably something that like fucking makes you lose the focus. What do you want? Calm down. Excuse me. What's he trying to say? Yeah, just him. I feel like I am getting -5 IQ. I am sorry, man. I am sorry. I didn't do it intentionally. I don't know. I don't really expect to find yourself like being this inhibited by fucking random noises. So I have my degree of pride too, and I said, what the fuck? That cannot be the case. So we are testing the theory. If it is indeed real, or if it isn't. That's why we're playing this. No other real reason. We already played this before, but like at those times it was for completely different reasons also. Like, I don't know. I do actually agree. It's match 3 games are actually kino. They're actually beautiful. And sadly, people just ignore them, or there are the modern iterations of match 3 games are way too fucking, not too infuriating, but rather, what's the word? Intense. So they become way too difficult to play. At least, as always, in the way in which I like them. So I don't know. I guess it's going to be an experience. Well, we are gonna see what happens. Anyways, besides that, I don't know. It has been. I was trying to start the stream and say something about that. But I also was setting up, so nobody. I did forget like about like a quarter of what I had to say. And yeah, it has been actually a long while since the last time that I was here, like 3 days or so. I don't know. I don't really. Sometimes it just is bound to occur that we are going to have, for other reasons, do these streams and whatnot. Like unavoidably, life takes you in wild directions, and you have to do whatever you can to manage whichever encounter comes your way. In terms of unavoidably, you don't really get to fully direct yourself, even if you want to, because at times you're just bound to encounter, bound to deal with things of different sorts I am going to fucking explore. Things of different sorts and realities of different natures in general and whatnot, to the degree to which you realize, wow, unavoidably, these other goals that I have will need to take a little bit more time, because I also have to deal with these other responsibilities and whatnot. And in that sense, it is that, yeah, sadly, I do miss some days streams because of that. Like, any single human ever who does something like this, oh no, today, I don't know, not so serious example. Today I what's the meme? Dummy Horde. So today stream is cancelled because of that. And also I actually forgot about that already. Yesterday actually was way too fucking hot. I wanted to stream, but it was so fucking incredibly hot I wasn't even capable of turning on the PC. I was like dying because of that. So yeah, it's amazing when you see that happen, when you encounter yourself under that situation of, wow, isn't it crazy that once again you have to just skip stuff because this completely unforeseen event happens. So yeah, we end up skipping, particularly yesterday because of that also. So it was funny to some degree, to some other degree it wasn't really all that great, but the past is already gone. Today we're on a brand new day, so we are happy about that, whatever it is, and you can enjoy having all of this, whatever it is too, and therefore life is amazing. What's the meme? Never kill yourself. Not as a meme, but anyways, I don't know. As I said, I wanted also, we have like a lot of things going on. I am amazed. I wasn't really expecting to encounter that many things to do, but at the same time, before, the issue is having too many ideas makes you bound to also forget out some of them later on, not because you really want to, in terms of there are the things that you forget about because you don't care about them, and there are the things that you forget about even if you know that you should be paying attention to them. So unavoidably, in that realm of possibility, it happens that, wow, sadly, here we are. We end up ignoring some things, and I know something related to games. I don't really like to replay stuff that much, so I know that if I don't force it to happen today, in terms of, if we don't play this, if we don't do our test today exactly, I am going to forget. And therefore, we are going to completely ignore all of these things, and we are going to completely forget out what the objective was, basically. The music, all I can say is the music is like an incredibly intense exercise of attention, because to try to speak while having that noise blasting so loudly is complicated. It isn't really that much of a pain relief, a pain suppressor noise, but it is something, I guess, at least. But yeah, besides that, and I don't know, what else? Any other parts that I might be forgetting about? I don't think so. Life moves on, and so we have to do the same in our case. So we end up in days, in situations, in encounters like this one, where so much of it all is just, also wait, I cannot be the only one suffering. Why am I doing you a favor? Wait a second. You have the music away to quiet. You also deserve to get absolutely blasted by the pain suppressor noise. There we go. Like plus 5 decibels or so. This is going to be an experience. This probably, I wasn't even looking forward to that, or planning it to be like that, but this is going to probably end up in the playlist of those mental training videos. What a thing. Ooh, I have to say, it is amazing that nobody else ever implemented this technology on their games of, what is this? Binaural beats. But slightly different frequencies played in each ear can help your brain enter different states. Is there something like alpha pattern? Holy shit. This one is like incredibly close to what's the name of it? White noise, basically. Or gray noise? The same. But yeah, anyways. 10 times better than the other one, actually. The other one was too loud. Way too loud, but no. Yeah, I was saying basically. And I don't know, it's going to end up probably in that playlist of I don't exactly remember the name. That's why I'm having such a hard time putting any other tag onto it. The whole mental training and whatnot. It's not the right name, but close enough because I don't really remember the right one. So yeah, this is going to be useful for that, basically. And that's why also, as I said before, this is why today particularly we end up doing this. I don't really think there is any other particular reason onto it. Like, I don't really have anything else to say in terms of, oh yeah, today particular. I don't think so. No matter what is it, the whole theory of sometimes multiple things which you don't directly consciously pay attention to drive you to have thoughts, realizations, ideas, and development of notions that you already possess within yourself. The degree to which these very, not exactly unconscious things, but rather what you don't directly put your attention on, basically, is influencing you to do certain stuff. Okay, in that sense, I don't really think I went through anything recently to say to apply that very same category onto this in terms of, oh yeah, I played something or I saw something that said. That's why I feel like we have to remember what this game is and how it feels to do all of this stuff. I don't think so. Just happens that, yeah, we end up today is a good of a opportunity than ever to do this. All I can actually say though is one game that I did see was like a match 3. Very, very interesting new game actually. A match 3 with a very minimalist palette or something like that. I don't remember even the name of the game. I could probably check it out to make my point clearer, no? But we need to keep grinding here for a little bit. If I remember later on, I will. Probably, as always, when the time to take a break comes. But yeah, that's the only thing that I have seen related to this. I don't think so that after that, or besides that, there is any other influence. And yeah, I simply wanted to try this out because I don't know, I think it's very human in terms of very understandable the fear of just forgetting all the other things that you should be doing. Sometimes it just happens. No matter how much we want some things, it can very much occur that they abandon our mind no matter what we do ourselves, so that we end up letting go of something, even if we are aware of how important that thing in itself is. We end up doing something in relation to that, to the degree to which it sadly influences us later on, or I don't know. I feel like also the degree of I understand what I am missing. I understand that I am missing something, but I am not directly aware of what it is that I am missing. I just know that something is missing in... What the fuck is all of that? How did I get 4 of those gems? Anyways, I understand that I'm missing something, but I don't really understand exactly what. I just know something is missing, and because of that, I find myself having a little bit, a lowered existence, lower than summit of my own existence, basically, and therefore, to be capable of acting your missing masculinity. Wow, no. It can be, no. That's why you have to, with your own 2 hands, pull me into a proper man and show me what it is to possess proper masculinity. Excuse me? The so against. No, I... The so against. It dies there. No gonna continue that thought, but yeah. No, I just think so that at some point it's about when I have the possibility of not avoiding something important, I should at least try to make sure that it happens. That I am therefore not avoiding something that I realize will to some degree feel good. So yeah, that's why we end up doing this today and no other day. Otherwise, missing something is always going to be bad. Missing living life without having given oneself the possibility to experience all those desires is hurtful in a way, annoying, damaging, that's the proper word, capable of producing displeasure, which what's one of the easiest ways to dark out existence itself. The act of not trying to have a good life, but trying to not have a bad one. So, yeah, that's my whole rationalization of why we are here. In the end, it's just a fucking game, so it's not that deep. It's not that deep, but leave it to me to overthink everything, and don't worry about it. Besides that, I don't know. Is there anything else? I hope not. Yeah. Life is a sewer? Yes, indeed. Life is a sewer. What is it? Completely... What's the word? Unrefined sewer, which you have to learn to purify into something much better. That's why life is but yet another reminder of the alchemist's path, because now everything is about the capacity for you to channel that very same seriousness and desire onto the world, so that you can therefore enjoy existence in such a great manner without any more reminding yourself of the enjoyment that is to not possess these very same precious parts which you were capable of recognizing before, or something like that. But no, okay, this audio isn't as bad actually. It's not killing me like the previous one. Like, I think the real problem was the previous one was way too fucking loud. This one, to some degree, they are doing something, because I feel like I barely hear myself, even if I didn't change the volume of anything. Like, I'm not using my headphones at a maximum volume, but it's good enough. It's good enough for a test, I guess. What was I saying? Yeah, anyway. Besides that, I don't know. I guess it's just that, yeah, sometimes, therefore, being capable of doing things is good, and being capable of acting in relation to all of those aspects, interests, desires is necessary even, yeah. The difficulty is in admitting its necessity. I don't know. I can leave it always to tomorrow. Will I actually remember what I want tomorrow? Won't I wake up changed, a completely different person with completely different interests, moved by completely different desires, awake in a world in which I still remember, but with sensations that drive me to completely different conclusions from yesterday? Perhaps. So that's why sometimes it's good to be capable of acting right now. Not every single instance, but this one is one in which it does apply. So, yeah. play some games, eat some good food, I guess, smoke some good shit. No, I mean, to some degree, I guess the whole degree of properness and whatnot is what impulses that. No, don't smoke. Actually, don't do that. But I don't know, something about learning to be an adult and whatnot. I don't think any single action that could represent a damage will represent a damage. The problem is actually understanding how to approach any of those situations. Do not encounter the very same damage, but that's also why we try to do our best. That if you want to smoke something, maybe you will find out how to do so without destroying yourself, I guess. Yeah, that's the point. Anyway. And so the noise. No, and I don't know. I haven't. Besides that, now for real, I haven't. I guess, if nothing else, this last handful of days have been very useful for everything in terms of, I guess, a lot of reading and a lot of continuation of stuff. I don't know, I suffer way too much when I have to study sometimes. It's so annoying to encounter yet another degree of friction present in what you're trying to read and what you're trying to analyze and whatnot. Some time ago, I don't remember when at this point, but I remember I said that the whole substance of, sadly, there are some notions that you are going to be completely reluctant against, unwilling to continue exploring and whatnot. Even if they themselves are very good, you will not have the capacity to move any further when it comes to their exploration and whatnot. And it's, at least, I think the specific clarification has to do with in the realm of the social sciences, I guess. And because it does happen, at some days it becomes quite a complicated action to be capable of continuing forward. But it is not like, oh no, wow, and therefore it never finishes. No, it gets. There is a finite point in which it ends, and it's good to know that it happens, but struggling anyways, so studying becomes quite complicated, but it has been also a good handful of days to refocus back onto the capacity to keep on also reading all the other stuff that I have to, and preparing for all the other things. And I don't know, I guess all that I can say, I get to appreciate a lot more. I think something that is beautiful in itself is misplay. Is to see people that also possess a degree of willingness to talk out things as something good or great or whatever. Because now I can actually appreciate how important it has been for me to encounter professors that had any desire to talk out the particular fields of knowledge and whatnot, and the things that I also have to later on study that fall under this very same category of holy shit, this is so difficult to actually process, to actually fully integrate, to completely adapt or adopt into the current worldview and whatever, and it's good to have those influences. It's not just good, which it is, but also, I would even say, perhaps it is substantial enough, and I don't know, I am sadly every single day wondering more and more what the fuck is going to happen to the future generations which have to educate themselves and encounter that maybe they have no one who actually is willing to teach them about such stuff directly. And I don't know, it's not like I never in my whole life encountered something like that myself. I do have encounters with such phenomena, quote unquote, because inevitably at some point people are not entirely willing to talk out all the great things that we have seen. Sometimes, even if you know that something is great, you're tired, life is tiresome, so on, and so you don't really have all the desire to say what are all the amazing things. You are happy with what you have, and you don't need to remind yourself of how happy that makes you. There are other, more substantial situations to attend to than this current one, which you are trying to look at. So, because of that, it happens that at times people just find themselves having great things, but being incapable of actually stating why they are so. And in those cases, it sadly will very much occur that, yeah, it's cool to exist somebody who might be in one way or another willing to say, to show, to explain why these fields are amazing, and it doesn't happen. But that is very much outside of our own control. So the only thing that remains after that whole problem arises is at least the possibility of seeing all the previous, I don't think the word mentors apply here, simply people who are good enough at this practice or this field of knowledge and whatnot. Those who do possess something within themselves, within what they talk about, within what they seem to be capable of showing, within what they explained already and whatnot, that gets to infuse the rest of the world with that very same degree of, oh wow, this spirit of interest, desire, I don't really know exactly what it is called, that quality which you can observe in others, that is, yeah, this person is actually loves what they are doing. That very same quality, which is refreshing to get imprinted onto oneself, basically. It's also substantial for the sake of getting to see it happen, so that you can later on understand how to, I don't know if it is exactly to aspire to it, or simply that you get a picture of what it is, so that you can later on let it also exist in you, like, I see what it feels like, so I can make a mental picture out of that, so that I can later on perhaps say, I also want this to happen to me. Okay, because of that, and the whole wonderfulness of the great works that are out there available, it is that the person realizes, I can find that even if in my near vicinity I don't really have anyone who particularly can demonstrate to me that very same quality. My point was basically, because sometimes suddenly that does happen, that no matter what we want, it just occurs. Also what? It just occurs that, yeah, sadly people are bound to act like that. People are bound to have those encounters, those events be, and no matter how much you care, how much you are willing to say something about those things, it will be the case that, yeah, sadly, we cannot really do anything about this absence, so we require to imbue ourselves with this very same. It sounds way too mystical when you say something like forces or energies or whatever, but it's simply the reality, the human spirit in itself, propagating its very essence onto others, because you get to see how it functions on one person first, so that you can then later on, obviously, imitate something like that. So yeah, and I don't know, I feel like unavoidably, therefore, it is quite worrisome. I don't know. I guess the point is, because still you don't really get a complete idea of how it is actually going to happen. You just know that people need something like that, but that's the wonderfulness of life. From which direction is that going to come? I feel like unavoidably nowadays that is present from so many sides that you can very easily also identify, and this influence, this life force which drives so many people forward, was also present in this other figure, to the degree to which I can say, and that is why they, to begin with, became popular. That is why they, to begin with, gained this much of a substance, of a name in the world, because as much as I can see it exist in those who possess the knowledge that I like myself, I can also see it exist in completely different fields, that very same charisma, basically, which is capable of transmitting and imbuing the life of others with that degree of caringness, which no other thing can actually bring forward so much. The aspect of one's charisma gets, sounds weird, but once charisma gets properly manifested, the act of getting to finally realize, wow, then what this person says sounds convincing enough, therefore what is being here proposed right now is also something that I can say myself sounds interesting to do something about, to participate in and whatnot. Okay, all of that therefore gains a new resignification, new meaning, new way to be approached, and all of that is great. But the point is also, and because it suddenly happens from any single perspective, it is that you can also see, and it's happened with this personality, with this public figure, in this way. This is how unavoidably, therefore, we ended up with these situations, problems, occurrences, and whatnot. Which nowadays we might be somewhat capable of saying, they aren't really that great, they are happening, but they aren't really something that we should be so proud of, they aren't something that we should be so willing to admire and whatnot. They are not something all that bad, but they are not something all that great either way. They are something that just exists, and it's questionable to say the least. But such is life, I guess. We are bound to live like that, and we are bound to have such things happen to us, so therefore, point is, at the very least, to have the capacity, the possibility, the opportunity to see something like that exist is great. And I can say, from my personal viewpoint, that I am thankful for having all of that exist. And I don't know, part of the point also was unavoidably those other figures of greater importance that also do exist out there in terms of, you can see it. Like, I don't know, who would be any great philosopher probably has that quality exist within them. Like, if you're talking about somebody like Aristotle, like Socrates, or Diogenes, or whoever, whichever one you choose, whichever one you know, whichever one you're capable of talking about, point is, if they gained a name for themselves, they probably also had something like that, which ended up spreading outwards the whole, once again, that very same light that becomes enticing enough to call to others, to make others pay attention, even if it isn't for the best of reasons. The point in itself is not to judge what makes it exist or not, just to say that it does exist in itself in a way in which it therefore leads to results of substance, to results of greatness and whatnot. And yeah, it's nice to see that those are available, but I don't know, I feel like the issues, I don't really know exactly how can people entirely navigate all of that. I am not so sure that I am going to see. The problem is, what I said before, the combination of, because this is something so strikingly powerful, I guess, capable of possessing a power of conviction on others, because this is so, once you see it exist in any individual, you realize that, this person can also very much possess an influence over others. Because of that, therefore, it can be said that suddenly, at some point, it's going to occur very much that we're going to be steered into different directions thanks to these very same influences, always present within humanity and always sort of making a call, like, I guess you cannot My point is, I don't really know why I'm exactly avoiding that word. It's not like I am consciously doing so. Sorry. One of the many capacities to also be a leader, I guess, in a world ends up being the possession of this very same quality. You, without any kind of charisma, you cannot really gain that power, so to speak, that position, basically. And therefore, because this works in such a way, in such a manner, in such a direction, and all of that, then it becomes substantial enough to say that, yeah, sadly, it will, I guess, the worry is, it might as well happen that sadly in the future all of this exists, and not really for, so to speak, the right reasons. This, I don't want to underestimate the future generations, but I don't know. I don't really know how the future people are going to be capable of ignoring others who also promise something so beautiful, so great, so amazing, so whatever. And sadly, I guess it in a way it still will be the case that at some point or another you're going to see something like that be. And just learn to live with that, I guess. If nothing else, learn to live with that. But yeah, and I don't know. My point is, first and foremost, happy because it does exist. Happy because it does manifest itself onto my own existence too, and I cannot really say now that it is something bad. I am just, I guess, partially, as always, amazed by something that might as well have always been present, but I never was capable of identifying before. But that is just like most of life. So many things are always there, but we are just incapable in one way or another of identifying their presence. Some things are always influencing us, and we just lack the capacity to say that they are doing so because we are so naive, so young, so blind, so impervious to all the meaningful aspects of our existence. Yeah, this is just another one of those, really, not much else, not much different, not much more than that. And happy to add yet another new recognition to the collection, I guess. And I don't know. I guess hoping to also be contributing to all of that later on. But that's a completely different discussion. That's for the future, not for right now. For now, we're just playing something. We're just enjoying this thing. No need to worry about much greater things. And I don't know. It's fine, I guess. But yeah. Also, I need to hire it. I think the problem is that it's way too cold. But at least I can say I'm not feeling sick. I am feeling like minimally dizzy or something like that, I feel like. And no, it isn't because I am lacking anything. I have been incredibly healthy lately. Actually, I am so healthy. My whole family got sick recently, and some of my family members haven't entirely healed from a sickness that appeared like 1 week ago. I was gonna say 3 or 4 days, but no, 1 week ago at this point, I think. And I am healthy, like, not that I'm healthy, it lasted on me 1 day only, not much more. And therefore, yeah, I am good. It's... the fact that I am feeling sick has something, not sick, strange, has something to do with this noise, I guess, not really with my overall health. So yes, we can also conclude therefore that this experiment is leading to results. So I will yet again time to repeat the catchphrase. Amazing that no other video game implements anything like this. Why the fuck did they abandon this technology? What happened? Like, PopCap was a minimally good studio, but it wasn't really, yeah, the most revolutionary one out there, to justify that and therefore nobody ever could replicate something like this ever again. Makes no sense. I am completely astonished by that. What is it? Something about maybe the implementation of it, the rights that you need to pay, who knows? We are not game developers, so it doesn't really matter why it then gets to be created yet again later on, but yeah, sadly, it just hasn't happened. So, at the least, we get to have this relic from the past possess it, and that's all that we can enjoy. So, better to not think about all the other things that we cannot enjoy, which could maybe even benefit from this possession. Just be happy that we have this to begin with, so yeah. Also, I said, I was going to drink some water and I forgot. Yeah. Let me drink something actually. Let me open the bottle and try to drink a little bit. Also, I don't know how much we have. Not entirely an hour with these notes, but maybe 20 minutes, 40 minutes or so with this noise, maybe, perhaps. I don't know, man. I already I said I was feeling minimally strange. I seriously don't want to do it. Like hit by yet another death ray like last time because of this. Sometimes you have to be capable of recognizing the risk in your actions and not take it too far for the sake of it. But also life is to be enjoyed by all the challenges that you can see, that you can go through, that you are willing to sit through and to experience. So it is necessary to also let these things happen in their own way and be capable of pushing a little bit further, because if there is something that the human isn't, that is weak, we make ourselves look much worse in our imagination, because that is easier than to deal with the whole weight of our potential. So maybe therefore it is necessary to try to change the quality later on, we will see. For now, yeah, we are going to continue like this, maybe like 2 or 3 more levels like this, then we will actually see. I don't know, I was actually also expecting to progress a lot faster on this game mode. We're barely like, what did we start the stream on? Level 24 or so. We're barely level 30, so yeah. Amazing how much every single stage lasts. But besides that, I don't know. I have something, but I don't really know how to get into that. That's why I'm struggling for a second. I'm trying to think out that properly. Like how to transition into this next topic. But anyways, besides that, I have something else entirely different, which is more related to what I was saying about how to transition into stuff. I am absolutely angry lately. I have yet another conclusion to express out so many things, or at least a hypothesis, I guess. If nothing else, I found myself finally thinking out this whole stuff of, wow, what does it mean to therefore be so much, what's the word? Well, not when you're a participant, but rather when compliant, I guess, with the streaming world. Not exactly that either. Not really talking about that. That's a different word. Like a completely different sentence. But simply aware of the fact that, yeah, indeed, there are so many other things that seem to be in one way or another ignored. And I feel like sadly, one of them ends up being the relative. And there are quite a lot of things nowadays available, going on, possible, accessible to us and whatnot, that have to do with streaming. Isn't it amazing that we are still so much filled with nothingness? Like, I think in general, it is surprising to see how little the whole playing field, I guess, want a particularly special world, uh, is being expanded upon and whatnot. I feel like something about creative people is entirely missing from that formula. Like, people, we always have the capacity to express ourselves. We always had it. It's not like streaming finally allows that. I guess if you want something to feel special, I guess you have to at least say it allows you in more possibilities for that. It's yet another medium. If you want to say that, it's not something entirely different. It's just another mode of self-expression, which in the end is good. I'm not saying that it is bad, but it's part of how we always communicated. It's the final advance from radio, which was minimally marginally accessible to everyone, to something that is now universally even more accessible thanks to the worldwideness of internet and all of its technologies and whatnot. Which, I mean, you say that it is entirely accessible without forgetting. I don't know. I was gonna actually make something up. I don't even know what's the real numbers in relation to how many people in the world actually have access to internet nowadays. I am pretty sure that not 100% of it knowable, but how much? 50% of the world have access to internet or so? How many people actually do have access to a minimally, I guess, depending on the stat, something like a minimally marginally properly good enough connection depends. But yeah, point is, I don't know, I feel like sadly it isn't entirely in its final states. We have a great stuff and we have access to all of this, but it doesn't mean that we have the best internet possible, the best quality and whatnot. I guess, I don't know, I don't think at this point in history it's so difficult to try to make any prediction. It's so pointless to some degree, unavoidably. So many of the previous ones led to absolutely nothing that it is quite impossible to actually believe that whatever ends up being predicted makes any sense. I don't know, and I don't think I will be capable of knowing if whichever thing we do will lead to any of the results that we're looking for or not. Therefore, much less any of the predictions that we can arrive to or not. All I know is that, yeah, we seem to have a lot of things related to virtuality and access to the virtual realm. So it might as well seem like we're slowly approaching. It seems like, I'm not entirely sure, it seems like we're slowly approaching a world of hyperconnectivity to the degree to which we finally get access to a proper enough world of virtual life. Assuming that that is going to be real and whatnot, even if that does happen, you are still like so far away from that vision coming true that what's the common quote? It might happen many generations from now, so far into the future that basically whenever it does happen, it will not affect us. It will happen long after we are gone from this world. So maybe it happens. Maybe implying that it happens, assuming that it happens, even if that is the case, or not. Only when that comes true, only when that gets to be the case. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Only when that gets to happen, I believe something like streaming will be much more revolutionary in terms of possibilities. Right now, I feel like sadly, so many people don't really have the possibility of engaging with this medium as much. And why I started saying all of this? The point was, also him. Amazing. I am literally being forced to use the fucking cube. Hate this video. But yeah, I was saying, sorry, that all of all of this, because I feel like suddenly so much of what happens nowadays is so much of a what could be interpreted as science almost of an entirely empty place, or not empty, but almost like a dying star, let's say, because it feels so sad to see so much be about the whole key ceiling stuff, like, yeah, this is what grabs your attention the most, and this is what keeps you, what retains you from living, not what has you interested, what can also trigger something primal enough to not make you finally decide, okay, this is enough for me today. I don't need to watch anymore, or to consume anymore, or to keep on going anymore. And why? What did I even begin to say all of that? Because this is where it comes to matter. Because yeah, I feel like sadly even in those cases of having the capacity to, instead of, okay, I am trying to say something, and what I am trying to say, because it isn't as incredibly simple, it does require a little bit of thought. If I need to pay attention to what I am trying to think out, the things that I am trying to say, isn't it necessary for me to have this simple enough capacity to just sit down for a second and bring forward something coherent enough so that you get to understand what I am trying to say, you get to understand what I am trying to express and what not? Also, okay, we're done. I guess we have to change the music or the binaural beats. Breathe out. Give me a second. Actually, give me a tiny second. All I can say is it does have some sort of effect, but holy shit! What a my god. Okay. My god, I don't know. It's good. I guess, yeah. I am still, my only thing to actually say is absolutely angry that nothing else has this. Now, we were on alpha pattern. I guess the real description is alpha pattern helps your mind enter a state of meditative reflection, like a walk through a garden. And beta pattern is helps your mind enter an alert, engaged state. We're gonna progress to beta pattern, I guess, for the next. It's the same garbage. The fuck are you talking about? This is chakra. This is beta. This is alpha. There is actually a difference? What the fuck are you talking about? Anyways, beta pattern now. Oh yeah. Full screen. There we go. Now, how much of this? Maybe like, I don't know, 1 more hour probably. Oh. Like we did with the last one basically. But yeah, I was trying to say then. sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to directly into the microphone, but it was unconscious. Yes. But yeah, I was saying, excuse me, literally did the second time in a row. I am amazing. That's why this channel has the unintentional ASMR tag, because sometimes it can happen. But yeah, I was saying, the point was, in the whole expression of modern media and whatnot, and how the field of streaming gets to be so much of a meaningful or meaningless place, blah 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 blah. The conclusion was, and I wrote all of that forward because I feel like sadly one of the many things that does suffer thanks to that is the possibility of possessing enough silences. I don't know, okay, shut up. There is something to say there. As always, you don't really get to entirely know how much of that is actually influential in terms of, oh yeah, this is the trend, and how much of that is just the worrisome of the person, the inability to form a thought of your own that goes against the norm. If you can understand how to make something work, you can understand how to make it fit within the already existing molds, even if it isn't entirely what everyone else is willing to agree with, basically. Meaning that if what you want requires some degree of effort to be brought forward, you're going to try to make sure that that is even so brought forward. Not because you realize that something is difficult, you abandon what you want, so to speak. This meaning that, yeah, it will very much be the case. I'm quite sure that perhaps if we are capable, if we get the opportunity, at some point in time it can exist. The silence as something more proper within the whole medium, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like, or at least people, yeah, individuals enough brave to bring all of that forward without any worry, I guess. But in its current form, yeah, it remains mostly inaccessible. Like, it's annoying. Something after I wasn't entirely capable of specifically indicating why. I always felt annoyed in the face of all of that, but now I can finally say it in terms of I understand why, basically. Something so capable of conveying so much, like it is the normal human speech, gets completely destroyed by the existence of this necessity in this way, by the persistent imposition of a lack of silence, basically, in this mode and in this manner and whatnot. It is annoying to see all of that to be therefore treated as such an obligation when it truly isn't so, and more so when we already have even places, as in the cinema as a best example, a place in which you can completely identify, talk out others who possess the capacity to master the silences and whatnot. Mediums which can utilize meaningfully, correctly, without making something bad out of that only. Silence as a tool or anything else. Right now we don't exist in a world of, no, yeah, you know what, it's all needs to be immediate, all needs to be near or nigh instantaneous and full of freshness and whatnot, and this very same trend is what moves us forward and makes us be so willing to say that, yeah, it's so much necessary to always be therefore having no break and no silence and no downtime and no all of that. As always, once again, nothing better than to look at the other medias. And I don't know, okay, the only proper critique I can to some degree formulate right now is the whole aspect of, but different medias have different things. You don't really have something like silence in a painting, you don't really have something like the absence of noise. You can have calmer pieces, you can have less chaotic intercomposition pieces and whatnot, but they themselves don't really possess anything minimally similar to silence. You can identify and try to trace similarities between already existing concepts in these completely different media, but they themselves are not entirely accurate depictions of what those other arts actually express. You're just imposing your vision. What's adjusting the meaning to make your point seem valid enough, while in reality you have no true clue if it, not that you have no clue, you can even realize that what you're saying isn't entirely accurate. You're just bending the laws of the thing that you're talking about to make that fit what you're trying to describe and make that fit what you are trying to talk about and whatnot, without it being entirely accurate by itself. But I don't know, my point is, I guess it's just weird to see it be so much the case. Something about human development in general, like so much of life, learning to be patient, to therefore or later on come to these technologies, these developments of or very nature and whatnot, and seeing how much of the human being gets transformed into this. Oh no, you cannot have this calmness. You cannot have this peace, this silence. You cannot have any of that. We need to be always engaged, activated, moved by something in one way or another, and all of those things need to happen and need to be the case and need to exist and need to be brought forward and whatnot. And I don't know, I feel like, yeah, it's quite an absolute stretch of a conclusion, but to leave the topic there, yes, because I haven't gone on for maybe 20 minutes or so at this point out this very same thing. You could even try to perhaps partially blame this very same tendency. I mean, unavoidably, it didn't exactly start with streaming, but what is it? Newsflash and whatnot created the basic essence that later on streaming got to capture in a bottle, so to speak, got to bring forward and whatnot. And what the fuck? BOM? There we go, thank you. And streaming just followed behind the footsteps of what is it? Television and whatnot, with the model of 24/7 engagement and 24/7 activity. If you want to blame it from the very beginning, you have to blame current media because of or for the creation of this thing, not only streaming itself. It just got affected by its precursor, making it so much of a thing. But once again, I don't know. Yeah. I don't really think like. I guess so. No, I actually do remember one. What is it? Video essay talking about something along the lines of how, in its current landscape, it does exist quite a traceable similarity between that whole model and streaming itself, how it seems to be so much the case nowadays. For, yeah, indeed, we're all consuming this person and we're all consuming this thing, this content, but we're not entirely consuming such that. We also, while we are watching this thing, we also have in mind all these other layers, these other aspects, these other facets of the conversation, holy moly, existent within it. We are paying attention to the streamer, but also, if I can, I will try to bring forward to my streamer and this other existent discussion so that we can talk about it there and whatnot. Like, it gets mixed with some of the other aspects of parasocialism and whatnot, but point is that, yeah, what started to make it exist in its very basic form was not really streaming, live streaming as we know it, but rather the TV, 24 hours of news anchors and whatnot, that whole different model that was created in television. And once again, the better conclusion get is not only there, but unavoidably, without the press, we wouldn't have, without the invention of the press, as in something that can automate the work of creating news and creating newspapers and whatnot, we wouldn't have the possibility of talking about television at all, because therefore, or without that, the whole market of this thing wouldn't have been created, and it wouldn't have allowed for the discovery of these other capitalist models and whatnot. So if you have to blame something, you have to blame the press, and without the discovery of metal itself, we wouldn't have ever arrived at the press, so you have to blame the metals and the metallurgy and whatnot. Without overstretching the point. You already get what I'm trying to go for, as in, unavoidably, quite hard to identify the exact cause for that, but at least it can be said that one of the many contributing factors, at least, seems to be this streaming for, because I think I didn't even say it so far. Amazing. So much of stretching the same point over the next 5 minutes. I am amazing. Sorry. I think it has a lot to do, sadly, with this very model, with the brain rot, therefore. Because it ends up being the same thing of no downtime and no break time and no moment of tranquility, passivity, in lack of activity in itself. So we are partially to blame for the creation part of that, sadly. I am willing to say, yeah. That's why I said I feel like that's a very good point to leave the discussion there, because in the end it also is like, what the fuck do you mean? You're trying to say, are you truly trying to blame me for the creation of brain rot? What the fuck are you talking about? If I am so opposed to brain rot, why would I be now somebody who had something to do with that? Are you crazy? So yeah, we are going to leave that there, because otherwise the stream is going to become only that for the next 2 hours, which I don't really intend to, so sorry. We can save that for a later time, guys. Implying that I will ever in my whole life remember what I just said about all of this, like... Yeah. Life is amazing, so many new things are always happening, and so many thoughts that you end up forgetting about the very next day that you wake up, because there is always something else to bring out. There is always yet another new thing to bring to mind, even if it doesn't possess all that much of an importance, even if it doesn't change your entire existence by itself. It is substantial enough to impress you, to make you feel like things are happening, to make you encounter yet another reason to claim that this so beautiful world is amazing. So yeah, point is besides that, then I don't really have any way to actually switch onto the other topic. I already made my critique with the lack of silence, therefore we shall exercise this very same expression with the next minute, me sitting here completely in silence. No, not really. I am also part of the problem. I cannot stand really in silence myself, so yeah, I critique the very same system which allows me to exist and which I am unwilling to change. Yes, completely true, brother. And I am completely conscious of that, don't worry. This one I completely can say I know. I rotundly know. But yeah. So, without any... It's not really the way to say it, no? But without any further ado, let me just go for it then. I missed a fucking 5-piece. I hate myself. No, not that. I have been reading some stuff. I even brought that up at some point in time. Don't ask me when, because I don't remember. I know I said it here. I was reading Levi-Strauss. Basically, why do we have to care about this? Yeah, a great question. Wait a second. Learn to have patience. Cultivate your patience so that you get to understand where I am trying to go with this. I was reading Levi-Strauss how do you actually say it in English? I know the French pronunciation, I don't know the English pronunciation. Like, sometimes the beautifulness of this language is that it keeps the way to pronounce things entirely. Sometimes the desire to butcher some words without any reason whatsoever to do so is amazing. But yeah, point is, I was reading some Levi-Strauss, and I found myself very immersed in the whole exploration of Tristes Tropiques. I remember I said out of that already. Yes, I'm not repeating that particularly. I am going for, and I am enjoying it of that, yes. But also, there is something that I completely overlooked when reading it. Like, amongst the many things that have been happening, as I said before, I haven't had an incredibly hard time continuing my studies on the other hand, because sadly, those very same frictions that I already mentioned at the very beginning, the whole aspect of sometimes you read something that is so... How do you say it actually? Like, what are the proper words? Texts that are transgressive to the person, that directly attack how you tend to see things and whatnot, I guess, something like that. Or stuff that is so heavy in one way or another that it forces you to take a second to actually process what you are seeing, to slow down so that you can intake all that is being thrown at you, I guess, something like that. Like, for example, the same thing that happens when you read fiction in terms of dramas of that kind. It's the same thing that you can encounter when you read something like, I don't know, any Russian literature example that you can think of, like Dostoevsky, yes, or Tolstoy, or whoever. The point is that, yeah, I completely overlooked all of that, because to some degree it is narrated as a very compelling story, but it also is really not much more than a study on many subjects, which is incredibly well narrated. That is astounding, surprising, beautiful to see, yes, but it is still a study. Like, even if it deserves algebras, I don't know, I don't think it is that much of an actual example, because the beautifulness of knowing that psychoanalysis has fallen completely into abandonment and into a place of complete disgrace. So, if I tell you that something like Rain Freud also has that very same weight, you're going to tell me, what the fuck are you talking about? Have you read that guy? Isn't he completely moronic? What are you saying, brother? So yeah, if you have read him, perhaps you can also say the same thing in terms of Bejeweled. If you haven't, and you want to say absolutely wrong, okay. Point is, point is, that very same friction I finally realized was also present there. Because I don't know, I guess I remember one of the very few things that I'm willing to keep on repeating from the very first times that I realized that. It also happens very much when you try to read something like, if you actually try to read, if you don't try to listen to a summary, to an AI summary, or to a very quick, brief view given to you by one professor over some classes for the sake of passing grades, when you are not doing that, but rather when you read it for yourself, you're going to encounter the same thing existent on Das Kapital, basically, because there are some things that are quite complicated to get through, man. There are some things that take quite a little bit of effort to be able of reading. Like, I haven't finished this one, but I can give you, for example, the other one. It's not a spoiler, because unavoidably it's not like, oh wow, these narrations are the most important part. It's the concepts themselves. So, I don't know. Something involving, for example, the death of children in the factories and the loss of lives of infants in those places and the working conditions of infantile manual labor in the world, in the uncaring world of the capitalist person who is willing to put those very same kids under such conditions to force them to work themselves to death, and how the lack of any proper system that regulates even the healthcare is also bound to create these very same inequalities and whatnot. Okay, point is, all of those things, or things as incredibly striking as that, you can also find when you read Levi-Strauss. But I'm not so much about my personal point. The point itself is, therefore, yeah, I don't know, I feel like it isn't really talked about that much. Whenever I get to identify it, I am happy because I finally get to realize that, yet again, this happens. But I feel incredibly annoyed every single time I have to remember myself, to remind myself that, yeah, it is bound to happen. Whenever you're reading something and there is something so fucking difficult to see, so difficult to be willing to take in, so what will be a minimally proper term? The contents, the emotional contents, and the emotional expressions found within those pages are so striking. It generates such clear pictures. The way in which the narration is driven forward can be so strikingly clear that you cannot stop but to contemplate the heaviness with which everything is being talked about, so that you end up with the realization that suddenly this thing is not only an accurate depiction, but also, because it is accurate enough, this is fucking heavy and this is fucking horrible, and holy shit, this world is still a horrible place. And because I do not know this, because I can forget about all of this myself, because I can completely ignore this reality whenever it happens, and I end up suffering when I try to read anything, yes, it's annoying, because it is bound to happen, I guess, in most... I started saying this earlier. I am pretty sure most social sciences suffer that very same problem also. But I don't know, I don't say it as, oh no, what a fucking annoying thing. I find it annoying that it is absent as a description, but I don't know, I would prefer to have that happen than to never be capable of resonating with anything that I read, to lack such humanity that I would be completely unfazed by such revelations. The world is in itself such a terrible place, but it is good to be capable of acknowledging that it is no useful. It possesses no usefulness at all to also nod in agreement with such a system without realizing that things are twisted in one way or another, that there has to be some change brought forward, and it is no use at all to be completely willing to ignore all of those very same substances present within our very same reality. So yeah, I can say therefore that I'm happy enough that it does exist, even if it is heavy to take in and whatnot, acceptable enough as the price to pay for trying to see it at all exist. So yeah, besides all of that, then I don't know. I can say that this music... I have a question. No. This one is, for some reason, it's at max volume, but it isn't as intense as the previous one. I wouldn't really say that I feel myself like here. Beta pattern helps your mind enter an alert, engaged state, I guess. What is it? Flow state? I don't think so. I don't really feel like I am like that. I just don't feel impeded by a fucking loud buzzing noise literally in my ears because I am using headphones, but who knows? Maybe somebody from PopCap comes here and looks at what's happening and says, yeah, this person is actually being affected by the beta pattern, the binaural, what is it? Alternating noises. So this is indeed working. Who knows? I personal report. No, doesn't seem to be the case. I am just glad that it isn't giving me any kind of mental anguish, I guess. Like the previous one. The previous two ones, I think. So yeah. Yeah. We still have to change, and the next one that we have ahead was the one that knocked me off last time, I'm pretty sure. But I remember that when I brought up the sickness. That day was literally the only day that I was feeling minimally sick. After that, I got entirely. I got back up. What the fuck? I got up completely well the next day. So yeah, I'm not really so sure that it was particularly that noise, because as I said, yeah, I did feel sick afterwards, no matter what. But yeah, I guess we will see. Trying to, in the meantime, mentally prepare for the next one. We have to see what happens. We have to try to endure the experience so far. Also, anything else to say? How many are there? That's actually a question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Euphoria, what the fuck are you talking about? Excuse me, I lost myself in that name. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. There are 11. Amazing. So, I was gonna say we can try to do an hour of each, but it will mean an 11 hours stream. I would end up mentally like with my brain fucking fried. So no thanks. No. Yes, we could. But what if we don't? What if we completely do not do that? But yeah, I guess that's that. And besides that, anything else? Yeah. At some point today, particularly, we are going to have to take a break, and not really a tiny one, particularly. But yeah, for sure we can endure like 10 minutes of me living, right? Like, it's not going to be a problem for sure. The question is, I say this because I don't know really how much can we be here before I do have to leave. So, if I soon enough say, well, okay, time to take a break, then you are already warned that I am going to leave for a while. I guess all that I can actually do to do it more well, quote unquote, is make sure to add something like I can get a sixth one, but I can't get a sixth one also. Fuck. Okay, I need to bring that up because I got called. Amazing. Here. Yes, you will have to give me. I guess I have a little bit of time. Give me a second. Let me set things up, and yeah, I will probably be back in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. Maybe we will see. We shall find out. This, and this, like this, tools, scripts. 480, 660, just in case. Start. There we go. Yeah. See you soon, basically. Yeah. I'm back. Am I back? No, I'm not back. I lost people. Wow. Sorry for the beep. I have to get it out of my system. Also, what's up with this? Did the message fucking unpin itself? Are you joking with me? Ah, no. On PC, for some reason, it gets displayed so weirdly. What the fuck can happen, I guess? Can be the case. What are you talking about? The chat on YouTube. The warning on YouTube. Also, yes, my internet actually died for some reason. Isn't it amazing? On PC, did we lose any frames? No, we didn't. What happened? Can't happen. Also, why did I mute the background noise? Am I losing it? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Anyway, let me activate this again. What's next? Yeah, we get back to this. I have a doubt. If I put this on full screen, and it okay, there we go. It gets properly captured, although I look at it on OBS and it seems to be cut off for some reason, although it isn't really. So stop asking so many questions, brother. Just accept the reality as what it is. Yes, excuse me. Let me get everything else already. Anyways, what a thing, what a world. I see. I was gonna say what a beautiful world, but I don't actually remember it. So, it's over, actually. Okay. Do we have the model on screen? Yeah, amazing. Sometimes, why would that matter? Because sometimes you don't actually see it for some reason. Like I tab out, not I tab out the. I tabbed out at the wrong moment. I tab out and it doesn't. It stops showing it for some reason. Can happen, I guess. Main menu, fucking into that button. Anyways, where are we? Taking into consideration how much we took to get back and all of that, don't we need to actually like change the fucking binaural beats? The problem is I will fucking die from the chakra circle one. Can we? I think I don't want to say that I exactly have it, because I never got tested for that, and it is rude to say it. Yes, I can understand that much basic human functions, but I am pretty sure I have some sort of condition, let's say, that makes these loud noises be completely irritating to me. That's why I have such a horrible bad reaction when I hear it. But we will see. If I don't pass out, we are good. Or, no, early, I hope. I'm not going to actually pass out, I just will feel minimally weak and it will be like, wow, why? Great question. And we will all act like there is no real explanation. Although, unavoidably, there is. Unavoidably, there has to be one. But anyways, besides that, what else? I have something to say. Yeah. I found something to complain about after leaving for a bit, after having to do that stuff. I am the oppressed class. The poor is forced to remain poor, while the rich only gets richer. What are you talking about? They rolled out an update for Counter-Strike. And you might wonder, what are you talking about? Yeah, I use Counter-Strike to farm for cases, and in this new update, they limited the drops, not the drops, the XP that you get from playing. So, I am being directly affected by that because I need to play, I don't know how much actually. I think I end up needing to play like doing the math calculations and whatnot, perhaps 5 more hours per week or so. To 5 is delusional. Don't pay attention to that previous number. Let's say 3. 3 more hours per week to get my cases, and yes, I feel oppressed. I want to get free cash, because it's literally free cash, by doing nothing. I know that Valve has no reason to give it away. I know that it is literally something that is almost a completely undeserved gift from that company. Not really, I mean, unavoidably to some degree. The whole point of also getting cases is that you at some point finally find yourself looking at them and saying, holy shit, I got so many cases, shouldn't I buy one key at least? And I am just not really in the position to have the capacity to ever say that. I literally, imagine how much the cash from those cases matters to me, that it literally is a way in which I can sustain my expenses on Steam thanks to it. I mean, a good example is I wouldn't have gotten this game, if it wasn't for the items there. I keep on saying that, like, every so often I repeat that. Yeah, I haven't put any cash onto Steam since like 2023 or so, to some degree, because I cannot really afford it. But yeah, I am absolutely thankful for that. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know, I am not all that happy that now I have to grind so much. Why do I actually have to put some work into what I want? Unbelievable, inconceivable. I am actually forced to try for what I desire in this life? Who could have expected that? How can that be the case? No. But no. I do feel like it is not really all that great, actually. I don't really like to grind that much. Even if it is free, even if it is all of that, I feel like sadly, I guess unavoidably it makes sense in terms of it is created to also add layers of prevention. You have not so many farmers. Like, I have encountered them myself. There is quite a fucking huge issue with bot farms throughout the servers. You literally can't see. You can show in games where the entire lobby are bots farming for cases. The only difference is I am not a bot, I am a human person doing it. That's why it's not so controversial that I am saying all of what I am saying. If I was yet another one of those people who utilizes bot farms to get cases, that will be completely ridiculous. But I am like the negligible losses, I guess, as they will call them, that get affected by all of that. And I don't know, yeah, I just wanted to say that it does feel quite sad that it slowly you get more and more impeded from all of those great things. The only thing that I can actually get angry about is, once again, that all of that gets completely lost because of these people who say, yeah, you know what? We're not going to get our cases. We're going to get so many votes that we're going to maybe, perhaps, occupy 10 or 20% of the available official servers with our fucking machines. And depending on the time of the day, it might even happen that we don't just occupy 10 to 20%. Perhaps we even spike it up to 30 to 40%. Because we have so many fucking bots running to farm boxes for us. So, as always, as it happens with anything that is good, it cannot last because somebody comes and finds a way to fucking ruin it for everyone else. But, I don't know, at least it works still. Like, I cannot really complain that much. I would probably be in grief-stricken if I have to say that I cannot farm anymore. I still have the possibility to do so. I am just crying because I have to put a little bit more time into it. Like, once again, it is still free and whatnot, but I don't know, man. I don't really feel all that happy about it in terms of, yeah, it's annoying. But, I don't know, I guess at the least. I mean, it's one of the many things that happens off stream, so I don't really talk about all of that stuff that often, but yeah, it gets to be quite useful for my study time and whatnot. Also, it's like one of the easiest ways for me to completely dissociate while I start to pay attention to my audiobooks and whatnot. So it's good for the sake of that, but also it's really not that bad. But I don't know. If we were capable of appreciating all the great things that we got in our lives, what would be of us? If we were capable of saying thanks for all that we have gotten, what will become of the human being? How ridiculized we will be in the face of such a hard existence? If we were more grateful, if we were to express all those emotions which we have now learned to call negative, wouldn't we as people become far more weakened? Wouldn't we as human beings lose our special qualities or special parts of ourselves that let us shine through that human spirit forward? Perhaps not, but we cannot depart from it. We have grown into a society in which the normal default mode of existence is complaining. So we also fall in line and complain about things that don't matter that much, that don't really mean any loss, any hurt, any pain, any suffering. There's just a minimal amount of discomfort, yet we are forced, we are inclined to say that they are bad, even if they really aren't. We must say that they are bad, because, yet again, what will be of us if we realized what are actually the bad things in the world? So, I don't know, trying to not really fall into that habit, actually, in terms of, not really that bad, but that's to, what did I say about the silence and the absence of it before? Yeah, we please look at that point again if you want to understand why. But yeah, besides that, I don't know, quite good to finally be back. Yeah, I did like very rapidly go through all of that without really saying anything, but yeah, as always, it is always so used to stream. I don't know, I find it so strange. I have been thinking about it. I feel like it's difficult to properly express anything about it, because to some degree it has to do so much with other people and their existence and what they go through and what not. I feel like it is in itself irritating to express something that could be misinterpreted by others by means of this factor that, wow, you're saying a particular thing that might apply to me, even if it doesn't exactly. Based on your intentions, I can very much still identify this case being mine, without you not being so willing to say so, or even more so, like, an even more important factor, you're not entirely aware that sometimes what motivates you to say anything at all is literally this very same aspect of, indeed, you have what I said before about unconsciously you pick up something, subconsciously you see an image, you see a meme, you see something, and that brings you forward to later on. Even if you're not aware of that directly, try to see something about it and try to mention it in one way or another. Even if you consciously cannot name that influence, it is still there in the back of your mind. It is still what made you do what ended up happening, what made you say, act upon the things that you did and whatnot. So it's quite significant. I wouldn't say bad, it's just significant enough to deserve a big notice. But yeah, point is, and I don't know, I haven't thinking about it so much in terms of one of the many things that I did see, I did hear, I have been thinking about is, because as always, beginning point was sorry. I got way too hasty. Let me actually hear it. Thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you. I was saying, yeah. Fuck, can happen. Can very much be the case. What was I actually trying to say? I choked with fucking air, I think, not even with my own spite. Can happen. Anyways. Yeah. It began with me saying simply that, as always, I'm happy that we're all back here. Because, on the other hand, I haven't always thinking, like, yeah, to some degree, I think I do. I did formulate my thoughts about that long enough already. The issue is to understand how to express them, or when to express them, I guess, but yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I did so to some degree, but there is something that I feel like is incredibly important, and that is the fact that sometimes you actually have the opportunity to do things for incredibly long periods of time. Sometimes I feel like sadly people forget about the human capacity to just wait on things. No! I have a fucking... Anyways. What a video game. I was literally setting up everything for a 5 souls in a chain. Whatever. Was saying then, yeah. That it's at least for me, it's strange to see how much I don't really have anything, like, it's strange because I don't really understand from where it comes from, like, I don't exactly understand why it is so normalized a rather, or why it is so unattended rather, yeah. I understand, I actually literally have already talked about it in terms of what is the source of all of that, the culture that makes it seem so natural to always be willing to talk out of the immediateness of things, and the world that is so willing to act in accordance with this very same desire for immediateness and whatnot, and all of those similar factors, yeah. That thing therefore leads to people forgetting about the capacity to progress on things slowly, to progress on things over time, to give yourself the opportunity to do what you want and what you are looking for and what's not, through an extended period of time. Also, there is a sheep over here, what the fuck? Just saw that. But yeah, it's because of that, then how does this at all connect to what I am saying? Great question. In what has something to do with the fact that, yeah, sometimes it's quite amazing to get to stream. I feel like sometimes, I don't know, people do forget that you can literally just take the time that you need to do stuff like this, like, not always you need to be present, not always you need to be doing stuff of this sort and whatnot, and I don't know, I feel like it's, I don't wanna say annoying, it's just strange to see how normalized it is, the whole, no, you need to always be present, you always need to be, whatnot, and I discourage the wonderful word that's to be inserted into the exist around all of these things in such a way that makes it look like you absolutely have to comply to the rules and whatnot, even when it isn't the case, even when you are not willing to do so and whatnot. And I am amazed by all of that, to the degree to which I feel like, sadly, not always, sadly, quote unquote, sadly, it's not so much the case. And yeah, I am glad that we get to be back, but I don't know, I don't really think it always needs to be like every single day. It can take some time. Okay, wait. Parentheses or completely. What's the expression? Slash. OOC. What I choked on, I finally see it, is the fucking taste of smoke that is in the air right now. Yeah. As in actual smoke. Smoke? Is it smoke? Like, I don't know what is the more correct expression. When they burn a pile of fucking trash and you therefore get affected by those fumes. That word, basically. But yeah. Returning to what I was saying. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's strange therefore, at least for me, to always hear out that stuff in terms of, oh wow, it's so bad to have to be here, it's so extenuating. And I don't know, I feel like it's wonderful to get to be back, but if it needs sometimes to happen, that unavoidably we need to take a handful of days to return, better to do so than to be back here and fucking burn out. What's the point in doing things if you're not going to enjoy them? What's the point in actually forcing yourself to act on something that you know you're not enjoying? Okay. Sometimes you have to put some effort into what you are hoping for and what you are looking forward to, and out of that, yes, amazing, so clever, just like every other single function of the human being, real. But in spaces like this, in actions, in activities, in this kind of stuff, do you really need to push yourself that much, that hard, that intensely? Is it really all that meaningful? Is it really all that necessary? Is it really all that obligatory, so to speak? I don't really think so. I don't really feel like it is. I don't really like when people make it look like it does. Act, work, function in that way. And that way only, and that's why, yeah, I end up here saying no. I like being back. I prefer that it has to take some time than to be back and literally not be capable of saying anything because I'm completely unfocused, thanks to my problems, thanks to my worries, thanks to whatever it is that is going on right now in my life, thanks to all of those other factors. In the end, are completely unsolvable and whatnot. So yeah, like, what was it? I didn't say anything about it here, but yeah, the other day, literally yesterday, I wanted to stream. I was looking forward to it quite a lot throughout the day, but I didn't realize until I came back home, like, my day today is quite heated, so unavoidably I don't really pay attention to the temperature throughout the day, because in the end, like any normal human being, I can get back to my house and take a shower if I find myself to be feeling way too warm, way too hot, way too anything, so it's not a problem to do any of that. And yesterday I came back And that's when I finally realized, wow, it's actually quite fucking hot, actually. Overwhelmingly hot, to the degree to which I cannot really enjoy being here. Like, sitting down and speaking, oh wow, what a hard task. Not really, but unavoidably still, I like to have some degree of comfort. And yeah, I couldn't do it. So, what are we gonna do? Do you prefer to have me here complaining, or do you prefer to have me instead, like today, actually enjoying all of this, actually being capable of saying, ah, yeah, what a great time, what a wonderful time, what a great handful of things, what a beautiful, and blah, 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 blah. Because I don't know, once again, I personally, I don't really enjoy when somebody is forcing themselves to do something way too much, forcing things to happen. I don't know, something, for example, you can say, I don't really enjoy when people clip farm either. That's yet another layer of that very same notion. I don't really like all of that. I understand that it happens. It doesn't mean that I clap my hands when I see it happening. Something about watching so much YouTube, watching so much other things, and seeing how, to some degree, that even gets to be absolutely normalized. And all of those very same things of, what the fuck are you talking about? Why? How can you make streaming so absolutely not? It's not exactly an enjoyable, because in the end, what gets clipped ends up getting a reaction out of people, yes, but in itself it is at the very least, unnatural. Like, it makes streaming never needed to now also have the sensation of the fucking uncanny valley. And now we're imposing that onto the world of streaming because we're looking forward to getting a clip out of things. Really? Amazing. The medium, rather, is being slowly killed by these very same tendencies. What a great thing. No, brother, I despise it. I do not like it. But, as I said, it's like you see me tomorrow watch some clips and I am clapping my hands and my feet at my favorite corpo Vtuber doing some incredibly forced clip. Don't judge my actions, judge my words, because those are the things that I trust more, I guess. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know, life and all of its occurrences and all of its aspects and all of those other things that can transpire throughout the act of being, I guess. Yeah. Besides that, I don't know, I actually keep thinking about what the fuck are we going to do. I'm not going to go that long. I'm not going to do an hour out of each one of the noises. I will end up fucking dead if I did an 11-hour stream. One day, like, it's not like never in life it will happen, it will, but not today, for sure. It's cool, actually, the explanation is, because yesterday was so fucking heated, it's amazing, all things. It's destiny, brother. It's a destiny. It's our very own destiny. We see everything falls into place, all according to Keikaku. But yeah, I was basically, because it was so heated, I don't know, I think I do have some degree of a problem with that, because I am incredibly sensitive to that when I am trying to sleep also, so I couldn't even sleep that well. So, therefore, throughout today, I end up finally getting some of my rest back. So, we can, I don't know, actually, we can't do an 11-hour stream, but it sounds schizophrenic, so I should refrain from doing so. I should actually contain myself back, like, it sounds great, but do I actually need to do it? Do we need to have me by the very end of those 11 hours without any prior preparation, me like literally with two fucking neurons working only. What is it? With saliva coming out of my mouth because I cannot even close it anymore thanks to my cerebral functions fucking dying, thanks to how cooked I am by being up for so long. Do we really need that particularly? Maybe not, maybe not. But yeah, I don't know, something about what is it then? Kissing? I don't think so. I didn't do that with those intentions, but sorry, it just happens. Some days you say something, then you realize what you actually mean with those words, or what could be interpreted after what you said. The second layer of realization of, oh wow, I can also see that this is how somebody can probably take what I am saying. I didn't mean it in that way, but it can still be interpreted as that. So yeah, sorry, I didn't do it intentionally. I didn't this streaming for so long, but I just, I don't know, the meme of streamers oversharing. Wow, unbelievable, unexpected, so unforeseen. But yeah, besides that, I don't know, I have to say, yeah, so far this noise isn't really killing me, so I guess, yeah, I was only truly, my theory wasn't so wrong. It was literally because I was falling sick that day that I felt so bad. I am not feeling bad at all right now, so yes. I mean, we have like still, how much? 30 minutes of this noise, so we have to see what happens in the next 30 minutes also. But for now, current report, status report, feeling good, thumbs up. The experiment can proceed. And I don't know, also, I don't even know how many we do. I think, yeah, we have done like only 3, so probably we can finish with a chill cycle. Chill cycle helps you let go of stressful energies and troubled thoughts. I don't know, man. I feel like also, yeah, I have another theory for this. I feel like quite a huge part of the quote-unquote influence has to do with the placebo effect. Like, I don't really have the capacity to... I don't even know if I studied that to begin with. Like, how much of an effect does... I don't even know if I have ever heard about that to begin with. In terms of so much of the discussions about placebo and nocebo effect and whatnot, but point is, sorry. I don't know really how much these, what is it, binaural beats actually have any influence or not. I feel like, if anything, most of it comes from reading the description, then assuming that it will have that effect, then assuming that it did have that effect after so long, because, what can I say? It is a loud enough noise to not have any kind of effect on you, but once again, I feel like unavoidably, at least for me, loud noises don't really make me that happy. Not loud. Incredibly, what is it? High noises? How do you say it in English? Very high-pitched, yeah. High-pitched noises don't really have that much of a great effect on me, but... of a nice effect on me. But can happen, I guess. Besides that, yeah. We'll see. Probably... like, it was a completely random idea that I had. Also, I finally remembered that I wanted to test out if I actually was feeling sick thanks to this or not. And I knew, yeah, another layer was, I knew that if I did this off stream, it wasn't really going to happen. Because I don't really listen to stuff, like, I don't really listen to music or anything when I am off stream. I don't prioritize doing that. here and there. I guess it's not, I don't know, I'm not a completely tasteless person who never in his entire life heard any music whatsoever, or nowadays is completely avoidant of that. I just try to say that, yeah, I barely, very, very rarely hear to music. So I wouldn't put so much time out of my day while off stream to literally do this, because once again, now in this environment we can test for how much, once again, 11 hours or so, so good. But I don't know, I don't really know if we are going to do the 11 hours total here. I guess to some degree it serves as a good enough proof that, yeah, indeed, this wasn't all that effective like I was anticipating. But we have to see, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps. And after that, we finally continue with non-guns. But well. Also, I am, yeah, my throat is slowly dying thanks to the very same smoke that didn't leave the air whatsoever, like the ambient. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it so beautiful to live in such a polluted world, full of contamination, completely filled its very own air with all the damaging substances, and all of us be so willing to act like it is fine, like it is normal, like it is okay, alright, understandable, necessary even? But it can happen, I guess. I don't know. I guess, yeah. I said something in a completely different sense, in a completely different mode, without this intention at all before, but yeah. The poor stays poor, and the rich gets richer. The very same thing with health. Those who can afford it can probably buy masks to fend off the completely noxious fumes that are out there in the air nowadays. Like, okay, if I have to say it like from an external viewpoint, it does sound quite schizophrenic, no? But if it was for me, I would actually live throughout my day with 24/7 with a mask on, with, what is it? An air mask? How do you call them? Those things that protect you from contaminated air, basically. If, I mean, depending on how paranoid you get me to speak out this very same thing, I could even see myself going through my day with a gas mask on, perhaps, yeah, but point is, and I don't say it out of, oh wow, just because I am entirely crazy, because to some degree I am completely sure it is quite necessary to actually do that, to not feel so ill, to not get so affected by all the stuff that is present in our current day air, basically. You know, like, sadly, it is a sacrifice that has to be made. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still amazed that, once again, it does feel like all of that doesn't really get any mention whatsoever, because it is quite a dangerous, quite a negative, quite counterproductive. I would love for it to not be the case, and for us to not have to at all mention all of these things in terms of, why will I have to worry about my health? I am literally living my life to its fullest. But no, sadly, I am not really so sure nowadays. Perhaps the expression that I was trying to go for, I did to some degree avoid it entirely. Excuse me, but yeah, it is. And I don't know, I feel like sadly it also does happen that in a sense only the very rich can afford all of those proper things to remain healthy, remain alive to some degree, or yeah. I guess the richness of health, like, not sanity, what's the proper term? Your health quality, I guess? or something like that. To keep to sustain something of that sort in a very elevated state, you need to have a lot of capital, sadly. And yeah, I don't feel like not that I don't feel like I know I know that I don't have the possibility of doing that. And I don't know, I what I can say although it's incredible, to see it happen. Because I don't mean it as I feel like the problem is with all of these things, I say it as, oh yeah, you know what? Therefore, remember to use your Prime subscription. No, man. The problem, I get to solve that problem for me. Amazing! And the problem still remains. And people are still dying thanks to that anyways. What a meaningful thing it is to change that. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I haven't actually trying to, not at all trying actually. I guess, is it an invasive thought? Like, what do they call them? Aren't they actually invasive thoughts? Am I wrong? Perhaps I am. Doesn't matter. Whatever they're called. Intrusive. Yeah! An intrusive thought. Maybe it is one of those that I have been thinking in general out the whole aspect of what are the things that we can do in life that need solving from a general point of view, like, yeah, it happens, and therefore all of these other parts of existence, all of these other persons, peoples, groups, and whatnot get to be helped and whatnot. And I feel like sadly, yeah, there are, I said it not today, but before, the whole aspect of it is surprising to see how many of those things do exist out there. How many things actually literally have that happen to them. How much of the world is filled with such problems. Like, I don't know. It's amazing. From one side of the coin, it's amazing to see how stupidly negative the human end up being. Because in reality, there is such an overabundance of things to care about, things to go for, things to try to solve and whatnot. It's such a beautiful world thanks to that. But on the other hand, it also is so normalized to neglect all of those, to not even be willing to acknowledge their existence, to not even be willing to admit that they are present and whatnot, that suddenly it does become a problem. It does become something absolutely negative. How they are out there, they are influencing us, they are in one way or another affecting us. Yet, why would you try to say anything about that? Why do you feel like it is necessary to say anything about that? Don't you see that we already have enough stuff? I don't know. It was that, yeah, because of that, I feel like that is why I end up having so many of these very same points arise lately, sadly, or coincidentally, yes. Sadly, for anyone who doesn't really like to hear them, I don't really find myself suffering so much because I become a little bit more aware about that. I guess what I can give you is, partially, from what I mentioned before, from the aspect of things, the portions of friction that exist in all the stuff that you have to analyze, to understand, to integrate within your views of things and whatnot. Okay, within that, there is also the aspect of the things that you say that generate those very same feelings on others. I am pretty sure stuff of this sort is very much capable of doing that. Like, I don't say that I'm pretty sure because I just have a means for that. Just I guess it's the reality of yeah. I don't really want to think about the problems that this world has. Can you please do me a favor and not talk out all the negative things that exist in this world? Sadly, I'm not one of those people that actually can avoid doing so. I guess my modus operandi is rather the opposite. I do prefer to mention them at the very least, but I don't know. Also, excuse me if I am hyper alert today, hyper energetic, like way too rambly. Is it the proper term? Perhaps not. I did drink some coffee before getting here. We got our one caffeinated stream, one allotted caffeinated stream of the month today. I don't regret any of that. Unavoidably, who would regret consuming drugs even more when they are legal? But yes, that's the explanation that you're looking for. If you're wondering, why the fuck is this so crazy to me? Sorry. I consumed a substance which is approved by the FDA, yes. And there is nothing you can do about that. Yeah. Also, okay, something that I should notice, the moment in which I stay silent, it actually is much more intense, the noise. Unavoidably and surprisingly, who would have expected if you finally shut the fuck up and give the noise that exists out there a possibility of gain more presence in your mind, you would become more aware of it. Wow! Who could have ever predicted all of that? But yes, in this case, it does feel like unavoidably. It is far more intense, but I don't say it as in, oh wow, I fear staying silent out of the sensations that this causes me. I might pass out. No, just yet another tiny thing to note about this. But yeah. Also, no, wait, I actually need to drink some water. I feel like, I am dying over here. Also, I didn't realize, but at some point, can't that happen? I changed the, it changed. I don't understand that to begin with. Why does YouTube, like, why is that a thing at all? Why does YouTube, based on what, like, why, what does it utilize to decide that thing at all? The function of YouTube live streams, top chat and in real-time chat while streaming. What the fuck is the difference? In the end, you're going to use a machine? Can the machine accurately depict what is the actual point of what I am saying? I am absolutely sure. Not that I am sure. I have already experienced it myself. I know that it doesn't pick anything right. The AI summary. So, what are you using to also decide, choose, show to me? Yes? What is it? More controlled audience, more mechanisms of manipulation. I forget. Sometimes I have that sad tendency to forget that manipulation gets a much more bad rep in terms of words, because sadly it is, generally speaking, something bad, so it's understandable. But yeah, manipulation in terms of the more basic sense of simply doing something with someone for the sake of getting a certain particular result out of the thing that you're incentivizing them to do. That kind of manipulation, not the, oh wow, yeah. Today, what is it? Hypnosis sound to get you to give me $1 million. No. So yeah, it's control probably and whatnot of the masses also. I guess that's a more understandable way to put it, yeah. Okay. If I get to define what you're gonna be seeing, like, the YouTube algorithm gets to define what you look at when that thing gets activated, then they don't really have to worry as much anymore about some people saying incredibly radical in terms of against the platform things, you know? maybe, most certainly, most surely that has to be the case. For better, there comes the big word that would have made out of this politician censorship, perhaps. But who knows, who cares in the end? We are going to still be streaming on YouTube after all of this. It's not like, oh wow, I realized this, therefore goodbye YouTube, no more streams on that platform who is so willing to manipulate others. Well, just trying to understand details, trying to finally think about something that has always been out there, which I never decided to pay any attention to. Rather, same polisher, same scraper, understandable. Scraper, scraper, scraper. Wow. Sorry. But how much more? I think we're gonna do one more level, and after that, I will have to take an idle break, aka. And after that, we are finally changing the dawn. Yes, that's what's going to happen. This level, then my scheduled idle break of this stream, and after that, we change the noises to the final one for today. Yes, yeah. This. No. But anyways. And I feel like, still like, I like to complain so much about so many other things. Like what I said before, in terms of sometimes conditions do feel like they are being altered. I guess you can say that. I don't really like that idea, that's why I don't really like to say it, but I feel like there is also quite a huge potential for when things are going wrong, when people are put into incredibly dangerous situations, that can help a lot more to materialize amazing solutions for problems that would have otherwise remained unresolved. It's not the only way to act in accordance with the possibility of bringing forward any kind of solution whatsoever, no. But it is, there was a file, it seems, oh, don't worry about it. It is one of the most easy ones to generate, because you don't really have to do anything, basically. It's, what the fuck are you talking about? Great question. In relation to all the things that I have said, basically, of, yeah, when it comes to steam and when it comes to the smoke in the air and the fumes and what else did I complain about? When it comes to seeing things that are hard to comprehend or to accept, to integrate within your already existing worldview, which seem to not be so directly in accordance with what you know and what not. All of those things, therefore, fall under the category of the different things that in themselves generate also the situation of, okay, if we want to solve this thing from the very root of it, there needs to exist something that allows that things that eliminate the situation, the problem. We cannot really get rid of the situation in any other way. We cannot get rid of the problem in any other manner. Or, unavoidably, not completely negating it. It can happen, but we are not willing to put the effort into it. Also, sorry for hitting the mic. It can very much be the case, it can very much be materializing to that. And thanks to that, we get to be incredibly cheerful about this occurrence, and we get to be incredibly happy that because we chose to not to do something, then someone finally got to find a solution for this so prevalent problem and whatnot. Albeit unavoidably, this is still something that in itself is troublesome. At least it isn't as bad anymore, or at least there is always some hope that somebody in the future finds a solution. What? Just in case. The whole, because I am referring to the particular concept of in dire situations, some people can get far more creative, can find, delucidate, understand, construct, generate, and such solutions that would have otherwise remained unseen. Something that basically fires off that very primal, basic survival instinct within the minds of the people. Something like that can be used to justify all of these bad things, and that is also why I don't really like to say it. Because unavoidably that gives you a reason to be compliant with all the unfairness in this world. That gives you. Isn't it amazing to have a tool at your disposal that lets you now say, and you know what, my life isn't so bad? Because in the end, what if I tomorrow wake up and find yet another solution for all the displeasing situations? What would be of me if I didn't have all of this suffering? I need it. I completely require it. No, unavoidably, you do not. Nobody does need to be struggling so much nowadays with all the resources available to us. But this other explanation at least makes things be not so grim. But once again, this discourse, this idea, this notion gets hijacked by these other very completely dangerous mentalities, which only disrupt and bring get more suffering to everyone else. Because in the end, once again, isn't it so, right, that this thing gets to be solved later on? And we didn't have to do anything. Isn't it so amazing that somebody could figure out a solution? Isn't it so beautiful? Wow. But yeah, it is in itself bad. Also, I think I said this one, so yeah, give me a second. Basically, I'm gonna take my tiny break. Basically, so yeah. This BRB and I don't know. I moved the arrow because I was returning, but I don't really need to have it anywhere else for now. Okay, yeah, give me a second. Basically, I will be back in a while. No, in like 2-3 minutes. For now, let me. I can now. I had to leave so rapidly that I didn't realize. Yeah, I can leave you with the music from the game, whatnot. So yeah, enjoy the binaural. Yes. See you in 2 or 3 minutes, basically. What's up? I'm back. Also, how loud is this thing? I never checked that in the volume settings. It's fucking loud. Can't happen. But if I can listen to myself, you can probably listen to myself to me too. Not myself, to me. Excuse me, I am ESL. I was gonna say something. I was gonna complain, then I remembered the wonderfulness of life. Back. Also, wait. Chill cycle. What the fuck are you talking about? It's the same cycle as the chakra cycle. Are you fucking kidding with me? Delta and Euphoria are the same? No. Euphoria, chakra, and chill all the same. Lucid dream is the same. Meditation is the same. Mood lifter and what delta pattern. Okay, I can realize the difference there. Okay. Pain suppressor. Oh my god. Pain suppressor is the same. Sleepy time. It's fine, brother. Not like... Did I switch scenes? Yeah, sorry. Excuse me for forgetting. It's all the same garbage. Go fuck yourself, man. Anyways. What was I trying to say? Yeah, I had a tiny realization. Not a tiny realization, I wanted to complain about something, but I did have a realization afterwards, yeah. I was gonna say that now that it is getting colder, I hate fucking trying to stretch. I'm getting almost not getting cramps because I did stretch, but almost like getting so close to the cramp. But I realize, sadly, it is literally because with the cold, your muscles get even more stiff than normally, so yeah. It's just what has to happen for them to finally hit the back and you to stay healthy, stay flexy, I guess. So it's not at all something bad, quite on the contrary, it's all that needs to happen, all that it needs to be. So I should rather be happy about it being the case, instead of being such a whiny baby today. But I don't know, sometimes we can keep finding reasons to complain or just admit that life is amazing and move on. But I don't know. What did I say last time? Something about the willfulness to not realize all of those great things, because if I do so, I end up being hurt by it. So yeah, it's that very same principle applied on that too. Any kind of complaint gets that principle applied to it, basically. But well, such is life, such is life. Also, no, I was gonna say something, but I realized I also said I wasn't going to speak about that whole topic anymore, so yeah, excuse me. But we have principles in this house, we're going to stick by our rules. Yeah. I don't know, it's just the interrelationship of everything and how interconnectivity of notions and how all of them can in one way or another get utilized for yet another development of ideas and such, that yeah, sometimes I do forget. I mean, not every single day of my life I think out things here that later on I say, but you know what, we are not going to actually talk about this. So yeah, it's difficult for me to remember when it does happen. It's like conscious censoring is far more difficult than unconscious censoring. That one literally happens without me having to directly do anything, so I have no problem whatsoever on that existing and that being and whatnot. But here on this one, on this other one, not at all. Not even remotely easy to do, to allow, to keep up. So yeah, excuse me. But at least at least we can cherish the existence of it and not the failure at letting it remain. So, why worry? We shall just be happy. Also, I don't know. I do want to actually say what an annoying thing to see that the noises are almost literally the same. I was quite looking forward to that mechanic to say, wow, we can at least do one more stream, but I literally do not feel anything change. I feel like, okay, I have one way to feel something, but that is what would happen with anyone, and that is if I started blasting the audio. But that will probably be a negative reaction, not at all a positive one. Not at all something that I will be happy about seeing happen in terms of, yeah, what a great thing that I did. Which normally I tend to listen to stuff at like, what is it? My headphones volume is 8 right now, so I would put it at like, I don't know, 80 to listen to something 10 times louder, and that will for sure generate something. But the question is, do we need that? Do we actually have to do that? Perhaps not, or perhaps I need to end up dead. So yeah, a possibility which I'm not going to go for at all. In this case, at a million points, yeah, it's one of the consequences of having been playing this thing for so long. We are going to finish this stream with 1,000,000 points plus. I hope that is like the final medal that you need on Zen mode, otherwise I have no clue. I know it has like, I think this mode is like incredibly exaggerated in terms of requirements actually, but yeah, very slowly getting there. Yeah. Besides that, yeah, I don't know, I feel like I'm slowly losing my voice. I have been thinking about it, yeah. I did have an idea, actually. Doesn't matter. I could have gotten a 5 same connection. Doesn't matter. Now that is, I was gonna say. What was I gonna say? Fuck, I forgot. I allowed the rage to take a hold of myself, and I lost sight of what I was trying to say. But there is nothing to blame but myself. The world is not what affects me, it is my reaction to its existence, to all the events that go on it, that end up being what affects my mood, my being, my all. So, if I decide to blame that external factor, I am only failing on realize where I can do better. Coming up. Who cares about what I was trying to say? Actually, both mad at losing that 5 sim connection and forgetting. Now, amazing. And what is the saying? You have to do double the work, because you have to both calm yourself after getting angry and then move on. Wow, isn't it amazing? Such a wonder is the human mind, guys. But yeah, I was trying. I don't know if that was what I was trying to say. I know I thought about that during that time also. Basically, that as I'm slowly losing my voice, I think probably we need to start to use like you cannot depict that, thankfully. But yeah, I will probably have to start using something like a scarf. Because it is getting way too cold. I think that one of the many reasons as to why it happens is because it gets too cold for all. I think almost like any single human voice who is vocal cords in themselves who are being utilized to slowly get eroded with time, so yeah, that's I would probably have to need to do that. Is a good reminder for me to start wearing one for the next streams. How can we ever know if that is happening or not? You don't worry about that you're doing with, so yeah. But whatever. I don't know. Life is amazing. Despite all of that. Isn't it wonderful? I haven't even yet calmed down from that 5 connection. I am about to have a fucking aneurysm, but not because of the sound, because of the delta, alpha, beta fucking any waves, but rather because of a fucking bad connection. Yeah. That's what a person has to learn to forgive themselves for things that happen, for things that they see, they know they didn't do well enough on and such, because otherwise remorse is what kills the most, not bad actions, not any other thing, but rather that part of the person that remains with them, even when they are sleeping, even when they are remaining only with themselves. Remorse is the deadliest, the most silent of all killers, and the goal to solve it, to get rid of it, is still as unsolvable as the most of them. But what to do about that? If life is out collecting them, out getting a huge enough collection to showcase to others, to reach a point in life in which all the things that you have some degree of remorse about can be showcased to others, where you can express how bad you feel for all that you didn't get to do. Life not as existence, but rather as the enjoyment in the sufferings of the non-existence that you got robbed out of, even if there was far more to experience from doing itself. Nothing better than to join the rest who also, in that very same line, just experience remorse or everything, than to do something about things oneself. Because in the end, who wants to actually do something when the possibility for not doing so remains available still? But it doesn't matter, I guess. Great. Also, yeah, I don't know, actually. I guess it sounds like a reasonable enough stopping point to 1 million plus. In the end, it's not that high. And also, you suddenly gain way too slowly points. In this game, I forgot about that factor. Like, even Candy Crush, where you get like 1 million points for every single screen that you clear. So, yeah. But what's about all of that anyways? Yeah, let me actually hide it. Thank you very much. Amazing. Holy combinations. I mean, yeah, look at that. It was like almost not almost, I think it was literally half the screen cleared, and it was only like, how much, 1300 points or so? Nothing, so it does take quite a while to actually get 1,000,000. But what's to do about that? Ah, yeah, I know. Now I finally start to remember. The organism slowly gets to calm down. The soul gets to find back its balance. Things gets to fall back into place properly again. And with that, things become clear yet again. And with that, I remember what I was trying to say. And now I can tell you, yeah, I was talking about the whole aspect of, and I don't really want to go left, because I try to look forward to try. I don't want to force having some effect from the noises. Yeah, that was what I was trying to say. Thank you. I don't really feel like it is in any way good to actually do stuff like that. I feel like it's... It actually can be quite an interesting question in terms of how many things can actually be unavoidably influential because you force them so much. Because you make sure that you go out of your way entirely to generate, to do things that will set up the stage so that you get some sort of result, some sort of interaction, some sort of thing to happen to you out of doing stuff like that, you know? Like, what's a good example? Well, an example of something that it does work, right now. I have no clue. What is something that works like that? What is something that you force? Like, okay, let's say you force your heart. It's not something that normal people do, but you force your heart to have a heart attack. And because you did so, you unavoidably end up with the result of saying that, yeah, indeed. Now I have in my hands this result. But you made sure that that happened. It didn't happen naturally. Like, what would it be? I don't think it's all that reasonable. Like, I am reaching the point way beyond its a reasonable limit. Just to make my idea clear, but we have the whole system inside of the system, bodily fluids and whatnot. We have the endocannabinoid system. And why does this matter? Because the endocannabinoid system is what interacts the most with the cannabinoids, aka the substances which are present in weed, in marijuana. So, why does this matter? Because you can say that you force your endocannabinoid system to be absolutely active by consuming weed, which is an external force. You don't really get to have weed affecting like your endocannabinoid system to activate itself to those degrees normally, or somewhat more reasonable example would be something like you learning how to meditate and whatnot. It implies quite a lot in terms of, for sure, we as people know any method that allows those degrees of meditation and trance and whatnot to be capable of letting yourself activate those areas of the brain. Like, what is it? The supposedly, like, okay, one that does work, the Wim Hof breathing technique, for example, that puts the person in such a mental trance that they start to warm themselves up. Not just a state of mind, but also the bodily tenses that it triggers and whatnot. All of those things are also substantial enough, but they are understandable. It's expected. Now, On the contrary, my point remains still. I don't really know. I don't really think that it at all is the same to say then. Yeah, okay. Let's start blasting the music. Okay, on the other hand, I don't really think it is that beneficial. Like, I wouldn't do it because I don't want to lose my hearing that much. Why do I keep my volume so low? Because I want to take care of my ears. I don't want to go deaf in the next 20 years or so. So I will try at least to make sure that that part, that little bit of myself which I get to have a control over, that little bit which ends up later on influencing me, remains minimally well enough so that I don't end up being harmed by these things. So yeah, in my case I'm not willing to actually do that theory. And even so, I don't know, a counter-argument perhaps, if it was that effective, I would be... It should work by itself without any other thing interacting here, without any other external influence or whatnot, so who knows. We are happy with whatever we have right now. No need to worry anymore, no need to look out there and complain. The world is what it is and we shall be happy that it is, so instead of just looking for yet another reason to make it sound like we're unhappy, in reality life is so full, so bound by enjoyment, but the person remains still so chained to those aspects of an enjoyment. And yeah. Besides all of this, then, I don't know, is there much to test? I have to actually find a solution. I don't really think there is much to gain from doing this tomorrow, and in terms of, yeah, for sure, tomorrow it is going to work. How many do we have? We're in chill. We have Delta, Furia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will take so long, brother. 7 hours testing, giving them a proper time of 1 hour each will mean that we need 7 hours, which means at least 2 streams, which means so much more testing isn't sufficient enough with all the testing that we did right now and before. All that I can say, we can benefit of the doubt. I misplayed that, amazing. Anyways, amazing. Yeah, I was trying to say. And I don't know, I feel like at least the only evidence of it working, I guess, when you are in a very suggestional state, like I was that day, when I was close to sickness, I probably ended up like getting some degree of fever. I just fell asleep to notice it, I guess. And I don't even remember what I dreamt to be capable of saying. I did, and I just forgot about it. So yeah, sadly, it can happen. But yeah, I was saying, basically, that in that day in which I was ill, I did find myself completely affected by that. Because I said, I think it was literally when I closed the game, like some minutes after that, while we were waiting and whatnot, here while we were finishing off and saying goodbye and such, that it did feel like I was slowly being somewhat alleviated from the sensations. So it does have some effects. It doesn't deserve to be entirely trashed. I am being somewhat unfair on that, but I don't know, I wanted more, I guess. If you tell me, like, What would be a correct comparison? Ah, yeah, only if you are doing this during the blood moon with enough moon rays shining at you from the east, while the wind is blowing very rapidly from the north. Can you fuck off, man? I don't want to need to have such specific conditions to replicate the results, you know? I love when things can be done rapidly, when I can see things work efficiently, not when I have to go through so many loops to get results. So yeah, it did work that day, we can say, to not completely demerit these binaural beats, to not completely demerit them, but they also weren't that amazing now under other conditions, so yeah. Just, the only thing that I will say also is amazed by how absent this whole mechanic is anywhere else. What the fuck happened that no other studio ever used this? I am absolutely sure that I have never seen it implemented in any other game. It's not like, no, yeah, only I haven't paid attention to it. I am quite sure that, okay, I have to guess, I have to assume that it has been implemented from the whole aspect of games who utilize it for subliminal things, perhaps implying that it actually works. That's what it is being utilized for sure. I wouldn't be surprised, for example, if you tell me that something like a horror game is utilizing this mechanic. Perhaps, but besides that, I don't really see it. I don't really believe it is happening at all. Because yeah, once again, I haven't seen any other game offer you the possibility of activating the binaural beats option, sadly. So my point is, yeah, it should be brought back. We need more people going crazy with this stuff. Too much fucking comboing mechanics from Balatro and the plim 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 plim, but too few binaural beats from Vtuber 3 being copied and carried over to other games and whatnot. Also, we got a million. Amazing, I just realized. I thought it was gonna be only after finishing this level that we were going to get it, but seems to not really be the case, so nothing to really complain here then. I wasn't even looking at the score before I said anything about it. Can't happen. But at least we get that as a secondary achievement, I guess. Hint. This. Fuck, I missed. Not well. Besides that, 10 eights? No, probably tomorrow it's gonna be implanted and end up way too tired. Tomorrow it's gonna be no guns and continuing no guns to try to make sure that we finish it. Supposedly we are there. I seem to have identified a winning strategy, so we have it in the bag, supposedly. Perhaps. That is going to be discovered tomorrow, actually. For now, at least we can be happy about having gone through all of this and having made all of this happen. But not, yeah. Anything else? This. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It has to be. I mean, anyways, we have to still reach tomorrow. The day hasn't even ended for us, so. But what has ended is playing this thing. Holy quietness, brother. Do you want to quit Bejeweled 3? Yes. You don't even say goodbye? What the fuck? What a video game. But well. that's it. That's the game for today. That's the experience for today. I I don't know. I said at the beginning, perhaps this could go in the schizophrenia playlist. I don't think so. Is it really that mentally damaging for other people to listen to that sound? Like the whole warning and whatnot makes it sound like it. For sure, there are some people who are gonna be affected by that. I don't really think so. I don't really feel like it's going to happen. I don't really believe it's going to occur at all. But perhaps, just for cases, I'll try to put it there to make sure. I guess. I know I cannot add it unless I finish the stream. So yeah. But well, yeah. Then, as always, also you have double entry of the fucking tick of the clock thanks to the desktop audio that I forgot to deactivate. Sorry. There we go. Now, I was saying basically that yeah, we are done for today. But that's basically not much else to really look forward to. Good games, good experience, good enough. But yeah, that's it. As always, thanks for the time, the patience, the interest, the attention, the everything. Remember to stay safe, remember to stay happy, remember to stay cheerful, remember to as always, take care, do the things that you have to do, work on the stuff that you have to work, be in the places in which you want to be, in which you have to be, and all of that. We will be seeing ourselves next time, probably tomorrow, if everything goes well tomorrow. And even if we don't, even if we never do all of that, still thank you for everything, and still remember to do your part, remember to do all of those other things that I mentioned. And yeah, thank you, and no, nothing much really. Goodbye. Bye bye.